Hi everyone, it's Paola. Welcome back to my channel, Art, Graphic Design. You'll find all of that here. Before we get started, please check out my Instagram. That's where I post all my designs and update you guys the most frequently. So check that out below along with all my other links, Patreon, all of that. So for today's video, I'm going to be critiquing my old design work that I've done in the past and even up until recently. So a lot of recent work, hopefully. I'm not going to hold back. I'm going to be as harsh as possible on myself, and let's talk about what I could have done better in some designs. This video is sponsored by ReadyMag. ReadyMag is an in-browser design tool that has everything you need to create a unique portfolio or site without coding. It has an intuitive drag and drop editor. Add whatever you need to your canvas and start experimenting. You can choose from a variety of highly customizable templates or start from scratch. The tool offers more than 3,000 free fonts and allows to fine-tune all the typography, enabling precision and creative freedom. You can also upload custom fonts. In ReadyMag, you can create multi-step motion graphics for your work so easily. So try ReadyMag now, sign up for its free plan without a credit card. If you're just starting out, there's flexible templates. If you're not new to design, you might prefer a paid plan to explore all of the functionality. And the first 50 viewers who apply the promo code Paola will get 25% off their first purchase. Thank you so much to ReadyMag for sponsoring me again. I love you guys, and let's get back to the video. Okay, so let's get into it. Starting first with my own logo branding. Now, the way I'm going to talk about this is going to be how I would critique anybody else's work. So it might help you if you are wondering how critiques usually work, how you should talk in them. I'm going to talk kind of like that. Okay, so I'm looking at my logo. Technically, it's like one of my logo variations that I have. So this paolakassa.com with the flower, I think what's really successful about this work is that it does have like elements of handmade and that kind of look, which I really appreciate because it is my style. Again, I can kind of like be biased with this stuff because it is mine, but I'm gonna still try to be objective. So I do think that the drawing and of course that handmade look to the type is very successful, but I think there are a few things that could have been tweaked. Starting on these letters, okay, so like the O, for example, I don't really like how filled in it is. I mean, I don't dislike it, but I think that it is like the most compressed looking letter, and I think it doesn't match, especially those A's that I have around. It doesn't match as fully as it should or as it could, especially with, like I said, those A's and the other O on the bottom. I could have just copied and used that same O from the bottom for the top. But I will say I think that it does offer some variation. Like I said with those A's, all the A's are different, and I think that that is very like the handmade look that I'm trying to go for. I also think that my type skills, like I drew this out, but bringing it into the computer and kind of editing it and, you know, pulling things around and making the letters closer together, farther apart, what have you, those were not as successful as I could have been. I was a little bit less experienced with that type of stuff when I made it, which you could, you know, see when I made it and be like, oh, that wasn't that long ago. But even back then, I was still a little more hesitant with like the pen tool and editing letters, and I definitely have progressed in those last 2 years. I feel like I've just become so much more confident with my Illustrator skills and tweaking letters and changing things, and I think that I can see it personally. Maybe not everyone could see it because they do see like that handmade aspect, but for me, I see like, especially in the P at the beginning, I see those little rough edges where I wanted it to be kind of smoother, and I couldn't really figure out how to make it that perfect. So that brings me into another lettering work that I've done, like custom lettering for a logo design. So this one, Iposa, was a branding I did for a client, and I do love this one. I'm so proud of it, and I've talked about it in other videos where I've talked about like the progression of my work, but here's another time to talk about it and really critique it. So in Iposa, in the lettering here, if I were someone critiquing this work and it wasn't mine, I would ask questions like this. I would ask, what is the intention behind having harsh edges on some of the ends of the letters, and then on other ends there's more soft and rounded edges? I think even for myself, it's important to ask those questions and really figure out and get to the bottom of why you made certain design decisions. I think in this one, I think some of those decisions weren't as intentional as they could have been. The part that I think is very successful is the shape of it, making that kind of butterfly flowy shape and having it be like the body of the butterfly in the middle. And I think you can definitely see that. It definitely plays a role that is integral to the whole logo. But some of those shapes are not as intentional as they could have been, like these hard edges on one end and soft edges on the other. For me, it was a lack of skill at that point and not understanding how I could change things to be perfectly even on both sides. Also, the O in the middle has kind of like a straight line on the right, which I don't think is very good for the flowiness of the whole logo. I think that that definitely could have been tweaked a little bit more. But like I said, this logo is very successful, and I think that it's nothing really wrong with it. It's just about wondering about these intentions and even questioning my own intentions, because with design you have to be so systematic about your choices and just really understand why you're doing certain things. Which brings me to my later type work. I mean, that was custom type I did for a client for the first time, and then I moved on and have done that a few different times now, like really worked in the custom type sphere. And now I have done work like this, which I can't show you all of it because it's not out yet. It's not produced by the client, so I already gave it to the client, it's theirs, but I just wanted to show you like 2 or 3 letter forms from it. So this was custom lettering that I created, and I just feel like it is so much more successful, so much more intentional with those lines, those even lines, the curves. They're all as perfect as can be, as well thought out as can be, and that is really just skill and understanding programs better, like Illustrator, and just being more confident with using these tools like the pen tool, and going back and tweaking things and spending a lot of time focusing on those little details. I think before it was really easy for me to look at something and say, oh, it's not a perfectly straight line, but that's okay, and just move on, and that's really not okay. If I'm gonna really critique this, like, it has to be good, it has to be intentional, and that is what I did here with these letters, and I'm just really proud of them. So let's talk about some of my recent branding. So as you guys have seen, I've been doing a lot more like brand creation, logo creation, stuff like that on my channel, and so I kind of wanted to critique a little bit of stuff from those videos. Now let's look at what I did when I redesigned Bath & Body Works recently in a video. So it was like a redesigning video, and I'm gonna be honest, I didn't put as much thought into this one as I should have. I know this is not like a video of like regrets and what I should have done, what I could have done, but it's like I want to focus on things that could be more successful in those designs. So here is the Bath & Body Works branding, and I made it just Bath and Body, and even I was like a little bit thrown off at the end of it. I was like, okay, the ampersand I love, like I think it's so successful, love the shape. I didn't create it myself, but I combined these things, which that is still a very big process of design. I liked my color choices. I felt like they were like light, playful, bold, and also very like clean, which reminded me of Bath & Body. But this sans serif typeface that I used around it, I just feel like could have been more thought out. It's a little bit off to me, and it just feels a little bit clunky. I don't know, it's just a thought. That's the type of stuff we get out in a critique. It's kind of clunky to me. Doesn't mean I need to change the whole design or that it's an unsuccessful design, but those are my thoughts right now looking at it. And then here I have some of the candle branding, and I feel like I like it, but it just could have been more thought out. You know what I mean? I think if I revisited it, I would try a few more different typefaces, try to move around that ampersand on the candle itself, maybe not the box. I like how the box turned out, but yeah, with that candle, I just feel like I maybe would have done something like even more minimal and like more luxury. It just feels a little bit standard. And now let's talk about a jewelry brand thing that I did for a video. And guys, I don't even want to talk about this one because honestly, I regret it so much. It's in my video, which I'm not even gonna link because I don't want more people to watch it. I've thought about privating it, like taking it down, but I don't want to do that, and some people really support it, and I'm really grateful for people. It's made over a year ago now, so like it is not what I do now, and I feel like I look at my channel sometimes and I think, well, that's who I am. Like, videos from years ago is still who I am right now, and it's not. I've grown so much as a designer, like so much has changed. So I'm not gonna like kick myself for this one, and I'm not gonna take the video down, but It's a video where I made a jewelry brand. So the problem I had with this one is that I think my anxiety got the best of me. I was really stressed out about this. I really rushed it, and I just felt like I needed to get something out for everyone. And I was like disappointed in myself a little bit, but I still felt like, you know what, I needed to post it. I needed to get it out there. It could help somebody, and I'm sure that the tips and stuff in the video actually did help people. But like, guys, I just am so embarrassed by it. Like, I hate that that type of stuff feels like it represents me now, because anyone can find it and think that that's just me now, my skills, whatever. But you know what? I'm fine with that. Let's all critique it, you know what I mean? So my problem with this logo that I made was that it just wasn't thought out. It's clearly just very simple, and it looks very childish. I feel like, yeah, it was like the handmade jewelry, like Etsy shop kind of designer look, but it still was just not it. Like, I don't even know how to properly critique this one, because I'm just so disappointed in it myself that I feel like if someone else were looking at it in a critique and telling me their thoughts, I would just honestly be like, yeah, I agree with you. Like, I would have no real conversation or discourse to have about this one, because to me, it's just not me. It doesn't feel well thought out. It doesn't feel like a good, successful design. Do I think it's cute? Yes. Do I think maybe the video helped people? Yes. But the design itself is very bland, very minimal, and just doesn't have a lot of thought, you can tell. But I had to mention it because, guys, I've been thinking about how this video stresses me out, and just the fact that it's up there and it has a lot of views, like, whatever. But you know what? We live and we learn, we grow. Hopefully if someone were to find that video, stumble upon it, see my channel, maybe they'd click on the rest of my channel and see that I have grown. Okay, so that was me critiquing my own work. I feel like we got into like actual discourse about design and how critiques should work and how I should talk about my work. And you know what? I'm not here to like defend all my work, because as designers, we just have to let things go. It's out there, it's for the public, it's for the people, you know what I mean? Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like. It really helps my channel. And also subscribe if you're not subscribed. Ring the bell so you can get notified when I upload, all those things. And yeah, I'll see you in my next one. Okay, bye! Literally so ugly. What is wrong with me? What is wrong with my design style? I have none.